watching Tulipswift. Today I am reviewing What If It's Us by Becky Evertelli and Adam Silvera. So there's no shortage of reviews on this book. Everybody knows Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, and Adam Silvera is pretty popular on BookTube. So I'm just gonna keep it brief. I have ticks when it comes to both of their writings, but I'm also a big fan of both of their writings, and so I was really excited to get this. I got it from my friend Zach, who sent it to me. Yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for? Thank you, my man Zach. So I did actually get to read this early, which is why this video is kind of timely. Welcome!
Filming a video?
Yeah!
Oh, hello.
So if you haven't read it, I'll start with spoiler free. What If It's Us is about this kid, Arthur. He's from Georgia and he moves to New York, and he meets Ben at the post office, and then they don't get each other's numbers, so they try to find each other, and then they reunite and they go out, and then Arthur has to move back to Georgia, and Ben doesn't know if he's gonna go to college, and it's a lot of like the after high school story or whatever is what I like to call it. It was really, really cute. I think if you like either of their writing, especially Adam's, it really, to me, reflected Adam Silvera's previous books, then I think you'll definitely love it. I feel like if you like romance in New York, there is a lot of cute New York stuff in here. I gave it 5 stars, but if I was being like picky, I would say like a 4.5, maybe 4.25, just because of the quirks that I usually have with these two authors, but I'll get into that later. It's kind of boring, but overall, like, I had the feels. It was really cute. I was like squealing. I like couldn't put it down. Like, I'm gonna get into it, so if you haven't read the book, you might want to click away because I'm gonna spoiler you. I moved my bed back against the wall because I'm afraid of change.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, so this book really relied on the two characters, Arthur and Ben. Arthur felt like someone we all knew in high school, kind of adorable, wears patterns, wears prints. He's in like musical theater and all that, so I thought that was so cute. He was a little bit quirky for me, especially like how awkward he was, but it was charming. From what I know about Adam Silvera, like, it felt like Ben's character was like literally him, because I don't know, just like that he was really tall. He's from New York. I don't think Adam went to college and like he couldn't afford it, and his family couldn't afford a lot of things, and like everything about Ben felt like Adam, and especially because Ben like wanted to be a writer. So I feel like that was pretty obvious to me, at least. The meet cute at the beginning was adorable, and I love that's what you think of with this book and what like the cover's about. Also, is this the same artist as Again But Better, like from Christine's cover, because it looks like very similar? When I saw her cover reveal, I just thought of this book, so I wonder if anyone else thought about that. I really liked how there's a lot of tension. They both like kind of miss the other person. They're like, oh, I wonder who that guy from the post office is, or like where he's gonna be. So that was really cute. I was not into the whole, like, I think it was Arthur was like, oh, like I'm gonna do like a Craigslist ad. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was just, it all was so, it fell through because he didn't post anything, and then Ben like looked on it, and that felt very like awkward. Like in the story, it just felt bumpy and it didn't work, because they ended up finding each other at the coffee shop, which made more sense. What didn't make sense is that he had to print out a picture of him and put it, because you could have just been like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I met you here, contact me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I guess it got his attention, but it was just so creepy. He obviously like really stalked him on Instagram to like find that picture, and then he like put it up, and I'm just like, you didn't need that. You could have just written a note. A lot of that wasn't like cute enough for me. It was just kind of weird. But once we got there, like through all that, I was like, okay, like we can vibe. They kept calling it like a poster. They were like, he put a poster in the coffee shop. Like, isn't it just like a little flyer, a piece of paper? Like, you were trying to like get me to like picture like that he made like a poster, like missing person. It felt awkward the whole time, especially the Craigslist thing, because the fact that they didn't even like meet on what's it, it's like Missing Connections, and it made me go, has anyone ever posted a Craigslist ad for me? Like, I feel like I read like 25 pages of them looking for each other on Craigslist. So they meet because Ben is returning stuff from his ex-boyfriend Hudson. I guess I kind of liked the idea that like he was getting over someone, but I didn't like that it ended up being like they're falling out, or why they kept like fighting about it. Arthur was like really insecure about it. I guess I just never really enjoyed this in books because it just kept getting like too much, and then when they had like a falling out, it was literally because, oh my god, you didn't tell me you're at summer school with your ex-boyfriend. It was just so not reason enough to me at least, to have a falling out. I did really like when they start to hang out together. They're very nervous, like Arthur's very nervous. They really like each other, and they're both just like being themselves so much, and they're like talk to each other so easily, and then they like bond over Hamilton. That just felt so YA. A lot of like noticing their favorite authors on Twitter, or like all those things that are just like part of like booktube and just like Becky and Adam. And then there was even talk about like book signings at whatever that place is called in New York. Usually they went along with it. Sometimes I was like, all right, now you're just throwing this in here. I did really like how they kept having our second first date, our third first date. We're like, we can do better, we can do better. That was adorable. And then like their first kiss like gave me like chills up. Like I loved all that stuff, and I thought that was all done really well. Some of the details that they kept like going out were too like close to home. I don't know, a lot of especially Arthur was like so nervous all the time, and like they're like, what should we do? Like I don't know how to plan a day. I don't know like what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to say, like what do I wear? Like some of that stuff was a little bit too close to home. I guess that was the point, but it wasn't cute to me. I was just like like I was freaking out. I think it's their second date that Arthur plans, where they go to the fancy restaurant. That was so awkward and I hated that. Nothing about that scene was like cute to me. Like the fact when he like saw that dude and he like took a picture with him and he's like, oh my gosh, I just met Ansel Elgort. It wasn't him, and I was just like cringing in like not a cute way. And then he buys Ben a drink. Arthur like freaks out. Ben's like, play it cool. Arthur's like we're underage, please, like we're just gonna leave, like I'm so sorry. And I think he gives him like money or whatever. I hated that entire scene. Maybe it would have been really funny to see like on screen. I was upset when Arthur like threw a fit about Hudson being in summer school or whatever, and then he throws like a second fit like soon after that because his friends from home reveal that they're dating. We're actually like dating, and then he's like, oh my god, like how could you do this to me? And I was like, why are you so mad? And then he like doesn't talk to his friends, and then he's like fighting with them, and I'm like, why? Like you're not even there. And it made Arthur look really bad to me, and I didn't really like him. I didn't understand his point of view at all. With that being said, but like Ben like really understood him, so then I was like, okay, well maybe I'm just being weird and don't have normal social reactions or whatever, because Ben was like, oh, I'm so sorry, that sucks that your friends are happily in love. And I was like, I don't get it. I think the best part when I was like thriving in this book is everything they talk about sex is like so sex positive, YA, we love. The communication is golden. It's just like everything is amazing. It was like, do you want to do it? Like I'm not ready, like okay, like do it later. Like all the open communication about sex, like A+. I love that. I love that in this book. I'm just really proud of everyone involved. The whole book, you really are kind of thinking about Arthur moving back to Georgia, but the fact that like Arthur and Ben like refused to confront it, I didn't really think about it either. I assumed they'd stay together because it's a freaking book, so I was pretty upset. And then they had to do a freaking like epilogue, and I was like, stop, like you're hurting me. It was hard after reading a book where they're like making it work, and then you just skip to like then Arthur's talking about another boy and they're still friends, and I didn't like that, and that was a very Adam Silvera move to me to make it like real life. And I feel like this was based on somebody's experience, so I feel like this is what really would happen, but that's not what I wanted to read. So much of the book was like a meet cute like fantasy situation where like they have to find each other again in New York, and it happened and they made it work, and then they become really close. So I felt like it did not make any sense to end it like that. I wanted it to be more of like a Becky ending, or like they're happily ever after, like in Simon versus Homo Sapiens Agenda. We got an Adam ending. I mean, they didn't both die, but like still, I mean, it could have been so much better. It was just really sad because it wasn't like sad enough to be sad, but it's just like, why? I feel like Arthur should have just like gone to school in New York. More on Becky's side, I felt her influence, the spark of like first time, falling in love for the first time, like talking to a boy, like kissing a boy, like all those things like really felt like they were from Simon. Adam brought like all the angst and baggage, which I don't appreciate, but I guess I do. Arthur was Jewish, and I thought that was cool. His family's also like rich and they're lawyers, so that wasn't very cool. because that's a stereotype. I don't know, I think Becky's Jewish, so I think we're allowed to give her a pass. One thing that really happened to me in this book is that we really go from point of view chapters one to the other. I could not tell Ben and Arthur's voices apart for the life of me. I was so frustrated over and over again because I know that they could have done this better, because I would have had no problem just like following one or the other, and it seemed like Arthur really was the leading character. At least that was my point of view. I don't want to see dual point of view unless it's going to be like really good, unless it's going to be like David Levithan and Rachel Cohen. Overall, once it was done, I could really see how creative and unique it was, especially the two characters' different backgrounds. One of them's like tall, dark, and mysterious, and the other guy's like literally the opposite, so that was really adorable and I loved that. You know, some authors can try so hard to like be hip and like get with the teens, but like Becky and Adam are actually like young and on Twitter all the time, and they actually like know what people like. That felt very authentic. I love their communication, and even when I was annoyed, I really felt like the characters were real and grounded. And even when I was like cringing or like I was a little bit petty about what was going on, like everything still felt grounded, like a real experience, like this was a real story. And so even when I was annoyed with it, it didn't take me out of the story. I have to say it definitely was like missing one thing that I can't put my finger on, but it had to do with that Arthur felt like he was driving the story, but I couldn't relate to him. I empathized with him, but like only up to a point. Like I didn't understand why he was upset. A lot of him I couldn't relate to. Sometimes he'll really put himself out there and I'm just like, oh no, like, so I really couldn't relate to a lot of things that Arthur did. And then the other thing is that sometimes the writing felt very amateur, and I've always really had a problem with Adam Silvera's writing feeling amateur. So here's like the worst passage in the entire book. I'm so sorry. Before I read this, I just want you to know that as I was trying to find this bit, I was flipping through and reading so much, and I forgot like how many good parts there are. The chapter just starts with like, fuck Google. Seriously, fuck Google. Just like a lot of cute little parts, and like the way they talk and the way the narration goes is so good. And I don't know if I've been giving it enough credit in this video. It was good. I'm sorry, because I only remember the bad parts. The writing did take a few risks. Like I'm sure that a lot of the parts that I really enjoyed were cringe to other people. But anyways, this is the cringiest part to me in the entire book. And for the next couple hours, we kept texting each other our favorite parts. Hamilton not throwing away a shot as Benjamin rejects his destiny. King George sending a fully armed battalion to remind the colonists of his love as Enchantress Eva predicts tragedy for a ragtag group of wizards. Hamilton rising up as Benjamin rides into battle on a one-winged dragon. The Schuyler sisters getting me helpless as Arthur loses it over Benjamin getting drunk with Duke Dill. History's eyes and not throwing away shots and making a million mistakes. Flirty touches and first kisses and hearts that turn out to be wrong. What? First of all, I ruined that whole passage because I realized I don't know how to say Benjamin. I do like a lot of the way like Arthur and Ben like thirst over cute boys. I really, truly, irrevocably messed up. I met the most gorgeous boy with the most sun-kissed cheeks, and the weird part is, I honestly think he was into me. Like just that little bit is so cute and sounds like something I wrote in my diary yesterday. These two know. They know how to write a story, okay? Even if they are driving me crazy sometimes. Yeah, sorry for making this insert video. Future Abby, who's editing, who hates me, bye. I mean, the connection that they kept having and how they were like perfect for each other, but also like couldn't make it work, and then finally were like so interested in each other, and how they were both crazy about each other was really beautiful. I was disappointed at the end, but we went on such a journey with these two that it's a quality book. Again, thank you, Zach, for sending me this book. Thank you everyone for watching. I thought this would be short. I've been talking for at least 25 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye.